our Ichimoku video. So if you guys go back and play our Ichimoku video, or Ichimoku, there's a lot of people that get triggered listening to that. That's when I was saying Ichimoku, and people like still kind of get triggered and say Ichimoku, or when I say Ichimoku, they are like, no, it's Ichimoku. I'm like, sorry, just watch the dang video and you'll learn something. Who cares how I say it? So I'm still going to call it Ichimoku. All right, so let's get into it. We have some garbaccio in the market today, but not really. Kind of yes, but no at the same time. If you guys can see, there's lots of squiggly lines all over my chart. If you're new, again, these are trend lines. You can see this pattern. Prices on the futures have been kind of in this uptrend, and now it's kind of pulling back. So again, support, or when price breaks resistance, it then becomes support. So you can see the price is in this up channel here. It broke out above that kind of that red line, that horizontal resistance. Now it's coming back and it's retesting support. So right now it kind of looks like a flag potentially. So if it can hold support, now we're going to watch and see if it's going to go and break out and possibly form a flag and continue up. So you can see price is really bouncing off of support at the moment. So got to watch and see if it can hold and continue upwards. You can see these lines here again, the red line support. These blue lines are some resistance areas. So let's take a look at, again, if you guys are on our website, each night we kind of highlight this here. We do our day trade watch list, and several times a week we do our swing trade watch list. I say several rather than every day because, again, these major stocks run with the markets, and sometimes you don't get a good setup. So you'll see we post our swing trade watch list several times a week here, and our day trade watch is pretty much daily up here unless there's a day where there's not a good setup. So that's where the watch lists are. And for you guys that are following us, that you're members here, you'll see we have two areas now for alerts. So I just want to bring your attention to over here. You can see, I'm just reading your guys' comments in the trade room. You guys are funny. So you have trade alert setups here. Dan likes when I put the inflection and says setups. So we do have setups still for those of you guys that like our setups. And these are, again, key breakout and breakdown areas. So we post the setups, what we're looking for right here. You'll see right over in here when what the heck? Why is it not opening? Something's wrong with my computer, I think. Hold on. What the heck? Why the heck is that? That's very odd. Something's happening with my computer, of course. Dan loves it when I call him out on the streams. Dan, I'm having technical support issues. Look at this. My freaking screen is like frozen right now. Well, that's odd. Angel, take a look and see if we're having any issues on the back end. There might have to be a plugin that's updated. Just double check and see why this is not opening on my end. Something's wrong with my computer or something. All right, so yeah, if you guys can take a look on the other end. Anyways, you guys that are watching, take a look right here. Mine has been not opening the links. It's not your computer. Hey, yeah, so Angel and Dan. Huh?
Lucian, mine opens it up just fine. So for anyone on that, I can open the links fine. So maybe do check out your system. I am bringing up trade alert setups right now.
Setup. So. Say it right, Creed. Setups.
Setups. It's like sit-ups, but it's setups.
Maybe I got to clear
I speak with a southern draw, and I mean it.
Maybe I got to clear my cache and my cookies. It's probably a plugin that's got to be updated. We got some plugins, so Angel, you can talk to Dan and get those plugins updated. So anyways, of course, the day that I want to stream, I'm having technical difficulties. So anyways, our trade alert setups will be right here each day. But we also do have, when you can see the drop down, son of a gun, right here, real-time alerts. So we actually now have real-time stock alerts for those that are following larger cap, want to follow our large cap trades. we do real-time alerts here. So come over to this page and read about them over there. So, all right, so let's now get into what we're looking at. You'll see NBY was on our watch. Actually, no, that was from the other day. So actually, let me see. I probably can't even go and look at our watch list this morning. Summon and Bacha. I guess I can't. All right, guys. So good news. We do post trade ideas every day right over here. So now, here's a perfect example. If we're having a little bit of minor technical difficulties, you can come over to our website and go over to trade ideas. Gappers right over here. Click on this and you can say, okay, bullish bears are having some difficulties. Oh my gosh, I can't get the bullish bears watch list. What do I do? Well, come right over here and we post the morning gappers from trade ideas. So we do a combination of trade ideas as well as our watch list, right? So, excuse me, guys. So we'll take a look at HL or HJLI, and that one's running right now. HJ. Let me actually do this. Let me get rid of these. We'll do this for today's the 12th. The shoe collection. Hi, everybody wants to know about the shoe collection. Well, hold on. HJ. Wait, do we have the right gappers today? Dan. I wonder if Dan updated the gappers today, because those might be the gappers from yesterday. Unless my trade ideas, because my trade ideas is not showing that one today. Guys, we're having lots of technical difficulties today. I don't even see HJ, unless this is from... That's odd. I'm not seeing this today. All right, so we'll have to see. It's correct, noob. Well, in fairness, that's not showing on my trade ideas gappers this morning. All right, so we're going to go off this one, HJLI. And I have lots of windows open here. HJLI. So, there we go. And look at that, guys. My favorite pattern. That's the FU pattern, right? Take your knuckles, flip them around, stick your middle finger up, and give yourself a big old FU to your screen. That's what an FU pattern is here. Right there. Big old middle finger. Pumped right up, dumped right back down. There you go. Nice little FU. Just the way it sounds. I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to say it. But it's what it looks like. So at this point, that one definitely pumped up, and now it's dumping. But also just to be aware, guys, today it's a little bit, market is in the red at the moment. So we'll see if it can hold support. Next one, we will see. What else we got here? Let's take a look at BLIN. Another little messy Garbaccio one. However, in fairness to this one, you can go up here. Pre-market highs 385. That puts you smack dab right underneath that red line, which is the 20 EMA. Kind of has a, let's zoom in here, symmetrical triangle-ish. I like to say ish. Kind of like that. So we're going to see if Blinn can go and break out of that symmetrical triangle. Again, it's still a little bit all over the place. Yo-yo effect, all those high wave and shooting star candles. Did I make one on the FU pattern, Dan? Oh, all right. Guys, you'll probably hear little bits of white noise at times in the background and other times not white noise. That's because I live in Connecticut I don't know in the summer if it's going to be 50 degrees or 100 degrees. So sometimes they get chilly and sometimes they get hot. I was just a little bit chilly. Now I turned off the fan, but now I'm a little bit hot again. So if you guys hear white noise going on, that's probably it. So that's Blinn. We'll keep an eye on this one, see if it can break out of that symmetrical triangle pattern, get above that 385 level, and get above that 50 or that 20 EMA. If it can get above that, it might have a little bit of chance or room to move. Sorry guys, I'm checking. I got simultaneous streams going today. I have the trade room stream, and then for those of you guys that are on the freebies that are watching, someone asked, Imnop says, do these live streams get saved anywhere? That's a very good question. The answer is yes. On our, right up on our website here, when you're a member, when you can not have issues logging in right here, watch us, or actually streaming replays. So we do our streaming replays right here. So we record them and post them several times a week right under here once we're logged in.
Lucian, see the cursor moving, but no audio.
Sorry guys, I was coughing and I put you on mute to cough and I never took myself off, so shame on me. I'm back. Now I got to cough again, so I'll put you on mute. Sorry, I keep muting. Guys, if I keep pressing mute, just let me know because I cough a lot in the mornings. It's allergies. And I have this nice, wonderful Yeti mic, and I don't want to have you guys in very loud audio coughing in your ears. So I cough, and then I come back, and then you don't necessarily know I'm coughing. So, and I remember in the past, there's some people on YouTube that say, good video, but you're coughing, get a cough drop, go see a doctor. So and able to avoid that, I have a button now that mutes it, and then you don't know I'm coughing as much. So there you go. Cup in handle-ish position right here. So you can see maybe moving up, but in the pre-market, it's a little bit, again, just a little bit messy over here, kind of fading. So you can watch and see if you can get above that. Maybe that, let's see that $9. Kind of has a cup and handle and then also a head and shoulders pattern. So it's got several different patterns. Again, as you guys can see today, lots of Garbaccio. Not a lot going on at the moment. Creed is saying cron. Creed, or Squishy saying cron. That seems to be a stock that lots of people love. So let's take a look at cron. Let's see here. What do you like about cron, Squishy? Oh, Crin saying, or cron, Squishy saying, get some pot, I think, for my cough. That might help. Help to relax my coughing. Blinn looks like it might be still trying to move up right now. So this is going to be one that we're probably going to keep an eye on at open. See if we can get above that 385 level. There is lots of Garbaccio right now. Lots of it. CRWD. Let's take a look at that one. It's not pulling up on my TD. Oh, Blinn was a reverse split? Let me take a look at that. Thien, are you saying Blinn was a it was no? Which one are you talking about? Thien. I don't see reverse split here for Blinn. All right, we'll see. And as you can see, it's going up right here. So guys, if you're new, if you're a newbie, this could be, if it fails 385, a double top pattern. So you can see it goes right up to the top of that 385, pulling right back down. So if you want to see, if you're bullish on it, you want to see it break above 385 and hold. But if it fails that area, it then becomes a double top. And you can see this is a neckline. So now it goes up. Watch this. Just kind of watch it real time. Let's go to a 1 minute chart just to show you. We highly... Oh, okay. It's open now. It's 9:30. All right. So here we go. Here we go, guys. So this is what you want to look at. When a stock breaks a resistance areas or these pre-market high areas, you watch and see, is it going to retest and hold, right? So we got to be very, very careful at opening bell. Just because a stock breaks above pre-market high doesn't mean you go and you trade it. There's lots of volatility at the open. So, you know, you can either get in on something if you see a setup before the break of a resistance, or you could watch and wait for it to break above resistance, get a pattern in the retest and hold, and get in on the retest. Right now, there's definitely some volatility on this one where it's breaking out above pre-market high, and now it's dumping right back down. And you got that nice Garbaccio looking high wave candle going on. We'll let that one play out. Let me see. So on days like today too, guys, I also like to fire up a bearish scanner. So sometimes if we don't get a good bullish setup, we might look for stocks that are selling off or possible reversals. So at this point right now, this has gone right up. You can see it's just kind of pumped right above pre-market. You can see this red line is resistance. It broke above pre-market high, created that nasty looking Garbaccio looking high wave candle, smack back down. Doesn't mean it's over with. Now you want to see if it can hold the moving average lines. Maybe it'll form a little bit of a flag. It's a little bit messy right now, but maybe it'll form a flag in 1 minute. If so, then it might have a chance to get back up. But we got to watch and see. It's $4 resistance, that whole dollar amount. So kind of, well, this one can go either way right now. You know, so this could either just completely dump, but you can see right here, watch and see if it holds. You get the bounce, see if it can hold right back up to $4. If it can't break $4, now you have kind of a double top pattern. So you can see this action that's playing out on a 1 minute. Look how it translates to the 5 minute. So you see this nasty looking high wave candle. That's super volatile up and down. MNOP says, do you have to get the $49 a month package to access the live stream replays? That is correct. You have a free account. We do have a 14-day trial if you want to come check us out. So back to over here, guys. You can see right here, that's where, you know, if you're day trading, ideally, you want to have a good daily breakout, so a good daily setup, then a good, you know, ideally a good 5 minute chart setup, and then look for your entries on a 1 minute. That's in an ideal world. If you wait for both of those, sometimes you'll miss plays on a 1 minute, because sometimes you can get good trades on a 1 minute, and the 5 minute setup might not be good. You got to be very quick. But as you can see here on this 1 minute, this is still a yo-yo right here. But however, this may be forming a potential ascending triangle. So you got to watch and see. It went right up to $4, right back down. You have this crazy looking inverted hammer. So it might be holding support. But at this point, this is clearly telling you it needs to get above $4. So on this one, again, you can see it's still forming this crazy looking high wave candle. However, the 5-minute candle hasn't formed yet. So this could form a very bullish one right under $4 and break above it. So this is where you got to decide, do you risk getting in on a 1 minute when it's crazy volatile while this 5-minute candle is forming, or do you wait for the candle to hold, wait for the breakout of $4, see if it'll retest and hold? If it retests and hold, then maybe you consider getting on it. So you can see it's kind of going up, coming back down, up, down. So at the moment, it may be forming an ascending triangle, but don't assume that, because it could easily fail, and then you could have a triple top pattern failure right on the way down. You can use these kind of moving average lines, see the higher lows forming up here, but you can see the translation over here on the 5 minutes, still very risky. You're welcome, Ema. All right, so let me take a look at, I want to let this one play out for a couple more minutes. Let me just see if any EMW says I like NEPT. I might take a look at that one. Hold on. So this starts to intrigue me a little bit more right now. I want to see kind of a smaller, like, will you get a smaller, you know, hammer or spinning top or doji candle? Let this moving average line, this 9 EMA, catch up. This would start to intrigue me a little bit more with a smaller candle. If it holds, green candle. Still have to be careful with this high wave candle, but these ones become a little bit more riskier because you can say, you know, $4 down to $3.72. These are bigger, you know, still 20, 30-cent candles. Got to be careful. And you can see this 1 minute candle still forming. These are kind of a yo-yo with all those wicks right now. So this is where you got to be, this is where you decide with your risk strategies. I don't like this setup personally. I'd like to see a nice, some you know, solid type of, something like a green version of like this hammer or something smaller in here. See, you can see these higher lows forming here, has a clear cut top, but again, it's still contending why you could be intrigued by this 1 minute setup. Right there. See that? Boom. That's why. Right there, newbies. All right? So if you're a newbie, you see that, you can get caught up and you can say, oh, that's an ascending triangle. Look at that. Boom. Dump right back down. That's why you got to look for that good setup, and we weren't seeing it. That's what I was saying. I want to see a better looking setup, and boom. Nailed it right back down. Nasty. All right, so let's take a look at what else is going on. So just to show you guys again what I was looking at here, you can see it's only 6 minutes into the market. As I was saying, you ideally want a good daily breakout. If we go back to the daily, what I was showing you guys earlier is, you can barely see it, but there's that red line here on my chart. That's the 20 EMA. Price is right up against the 20 EMA, right? When we go to the 1 minute, you can say, okay, price was trying to get above that pre-market high, but this high wave candle, these are very crazy indecision candles, right? But this is where patterns sometimes can be subjective. We can see or convince ourselves to see something what we want to see, and we can say, okay, this may be forming an ascending triangle. Oh, this is going to break above. But you can see these 1 minute candles were very iffy, and then bam, it smacked right back down. So that's where, again, if you get in before a pattern breaks and holds, then you have that, there's a risk, right? If you got in and said, hey, I believe it's going to break $4, but you didn't really have confirmation, that's a risk that you're taking because it didn't break above this key resistance area and hold. And so that's where many times trades will go against you. But other times, you might risk on something like this. It might break out. You can scalp it and get out. But that's where, you know, again, that's the risk of trading these low floaters without the confirmation. You know, but if something like this breaks out above $4, comes back down, retests and holds and forms a potential flag, then you can see it's holding support. But there we go. So that's a nasty looking set up right there right now. All right, guys, let's see. Let me reset the morning scan, see what else we got here. So Thean says B, Y, and D. Let's take a look at that one.
Check your mic there, bud.
Sorry, guys, I coughed again into the mic and I forgot to take it off mute. All right. Thanks, Creed. Let's look at SUPV. Pretty strong watch for a pennant flag. Bullish Bears Dan with the technical analysis. Wonder how Options Angel's doing. So SUPV, high in the day is 790. You can see this black line is the 200 SMA. Obviously $8 would definitely be resistance as well, that whole $1.5 amount. A little bit overextended on the daily. Like as Dan's saying, it may be setting up. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. So yeah. Dan with the technical analysis. Dan the man. Right here. So maybe this is the stuff we're looking for, guys. Like the smaller kind of candles. Again, it still could go either way and fail this pennant at the moment. But we want to see a little bit more of this stuff. Not as much as the yo-yo. Again, today is... well, market may be looking to push to go green. So we'll have to watch and see. But... you know, you want to see it kind of, you know, how about just be a little bit better like this, not like the other one with all those crazy wicks. But again, be also aware of on the 5-minute chart, a bit overextended as well. So at this point, you want to see if it can get this 9 EMA to catch up, have these moving average lines push price above, and see if it can go and break out above that $7.90 and then $8 area. Ah! Angel says, I'm watching SUPV from the watch list. Hey, Angel, I know you probably don't get upset when I call your name on the stream. Can you see the watch list okay on your end? On the website? You can. So I probably have to clear my cache and my cookies. Guys, for everybody that's seeing Angel now, Angel, tell her thank you. She does a phenomenal job with so much things with us. And she also does a lot of our watch lists. And as you can see, it won't open now. Yeah, we got to check a plugin. It's probably plugins. We'll have to have Dan do the plugins update. But guys, whenever we do updates before a stream sometimes... then you might not get into the rooms. So Angel does a phenomenal job with the watch lists, and you'll see they trigger off close to 90%, in the 80s to 90s every week, and that's where you get these good setups. So at this point right now, it's showing a little bit of weakness, so it's kind of failing this angular support. However, You still have the 9 EMA there, so but the moving average lines are kind of trading sideways. So this is where things start to get subjective. You can see, okay, pennant, or you can say symmetrical triangle, right? You can see what you want to see. Or you could also say descending triangle if you want to connect it lower. So, you know, don't get too caught up in the patterns. You can see an inverted hammer here now. I'd like to see a hammer pattern, something hold, bounce out of here. You know, so we like to see that. And you can see it's slowly creeping. You can see a lot of volume coming in here. So at this point, you want to see it hold. If it can hold, watch for it to see if it can break above that $7.90 and then $8 level. In SUPV, let's take a look if it's a low floater or it's actually a higher floater. So these are ones, guys, as well, that they pump and dump less. Doesn't mean they won't fail, but like when they pump up, it might not be a huge pump up. It might not go up 30, 40 cents. It might pop up 10 cents, right? But when it dumps, typically, they dump a little bit less as well. And as you can see, I think Angel said this is from the watch list. Not a ton of volume, so a lot of people aren't really watching it at the moment. And this is where, like, if you're newer, you're a newbie trader, you come in, if you're looking to scalp, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares, this is something you can potentially get in and out of right here. So right here, 780 up to 790, you know, that's close to a 10-cent move at this point. You know, this is coming back retesting. It may doing a double top. So this is where kind of showing you guys other ways to trade when you're day trading, right? If you're new to day trading, don't get caught up in the hype and the gurus and chat rooms pumping up stocks and, hey, look at me, look at my brokerage account. I just made $10,000 today. Woohoo. Let me throw a thumbnail of myself and my smiling face in front of my Range Rover of how much money I made today. Who gives a crap what they make, right? It doesn't matter. They, again, you know, people that are making $10,000 days and stuff, they have bigger brokerage accounts. It's that simple, right? So if you're new and you're like, hey, I want to make $10,000 a day too, well, then get a couple $100,000 brokerage account and buy 10, 20, 30,000 shares, right? So my whole point being with that is that that same 10, you know, if somebody's making, let's say, even $1,000 a day, right? If they scalp and make, you know, 10 cents on 10,000 shares, that's $1,000. But if you have a brokerage account and you can only buy 1,000 shares and you scalp 10 cents and you made $100, you didn't do any worse than the person that made $1,000 or made $1,000. You made the same trade. You scalped the same 10 cents. That other person just had a bigger brokerage account. So the reason why I'm saying that is, for example, on a stock like this, so each day, what are you trying to make as a day trader? Are you trying to make, you know, 30, 40, 50 cents on every trade? If you are, that's unrealistic expectations. You know, there's going to be days, you know, there might be a few days or a couple days a month where you might get those, you know, nicer moves, but other days it's going to be your 10 cents, your 12 cents, your 7 cents, your 8 cents. And here's a perfect example of something that, you know, if you were looking, you know, at one of the ones on Trade Ideas pre-market, and this thing went above 781 to, you know, 790, you would have probably traded this one candle and gotten out, right? This is just a different look. So this is a higher float stock. This one, again, it had a breakout, went up. It's still kind of running, but, you know, again, we don't know if this is going to keep doing an ascending triangle or if it's going to double top fail. But just to show you guys, this is one where you could have gotten in here, scalped, made your whatever, 7 or 8 cents, gotten out, or you can still technically be in it if you wanted because it's still above the 9 EMA. So that's where you got to decide, are you going to get in, scalp, make your money, get out, or are you going to wait for, you know, there to be a close below the 9 EMA? This could easily dump and fail it, and then you miss your profit. But the whole point being is you're looking for these setups regardless of whether it's a low floater or a higher or medium float stock. And then you have to determine your exit strategies. All right. Can you cover entry strategy and SUPV where you're looking to get in? Hopefully this made sense for you guys. Again, it's not, I'm personally not looking to get in on this. I'm just trying to show you guys and teach you guys here. So I'm just showing you things that you would be looking for. So again, to recap, if I was looking to get in on this trade, I would have looked at this candle right here, that little hammer, green hammer right off the 9 EMA. Once it got in at a break above that, if it can't break, you know, this is where you could decide, okay, am I going to get in and take profit here? If it can't fall, so at this point right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-minute candles. It may be forming, this is subjective, right? This could be an ascending triangle, but it could also be a double top. It can go either way. So if you don't take your profits along the way, this could easily fail. And now you could use a candle close below this right here. If you did get in at the break of that hammer right here on the 1 minute, if you got in the break above that, you could use, if you wanted to, a candle close below that hammer as your stop, or you could use a candle close below the top of that candle as your stop. You know, it's all kind of whatever your risk management is, you know, whatever you decide. But there's several different ways that you can trade this, you know, but this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this small little candle bouncing off moving average lines with a breakout. Again, being aware, 90,000 shares, that's a high floater. So if this breaks out, the chances of this going from 780 up to 820 is probably going to be unlikely, right? Because it's not going to pump as much, but it's also going to be less likely to dump. So as you guys can see here, after this broke out on this high float stock, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7 minutes later, and technically this trade is still happening. With a low float stock, the chances of this happening are going to be very slim. You're going to have much bigger candles and they're going to be a yo-yo effect. But to show you guys here, you can trade our watch list and scalp these 10-cent movers, have them be a little bit slower of a trade. You know, if they go against you, they're less likely to hit you as hard. You know, so it's kind of just, again, showing you guys a different angle of things. You can see in a 5 minute, you know, it's still kind of, still, again, very overextended. But if you look at this, you know, 790 down to 770, again, not saying that's not a lot, but even when it's overextended, if this slams back down, it's a 20-cent move back down. Whereas compared to a lower float stock, this could be 60, 70, 80 cents down. So again, with these higher float stocks, it's lower risk, lower reward. Low floaters are higher risk, higher reward. So you got to determine, you know, your preference. So as you can see right here, it's still showing some weakness. So this is where, you know, if you got in a trade right here, you didn't take your profits, you know, this one could easily go either way and fail right now. You got to watch and see, okay, on the 5 minute, a bit overextended, still bouncing, right? So it could be tricking you. Possible ascending triangle, it's still above this 9 EMA. You do have a flat top. But again, this one could go either way. So if you didn't take a trade on this, you'd probably want to wait for this thing to break out and hold, and then potentially see if it can hold that 790 level. Let me kind of reset the drawings. So if you miss an entry and you can't get on something like this, again, you know, kind of clear it off right here. You can see a flat top forming right there. It clearly needs to get above 790. So at this point, it needs to get above 790 and then above $8, right? But again, you can still kind of see it riding the moving average lines. You just want to see them curl up and push price above a little bit higher. But as you can see, this is a trade, you know, that's you could be in for a while. And even if it goes against you or whatever, you still have time a lot of times to get in and get out. Just reading your guys' comments.
Guys, watching NQ and ES here, we made a little bit of a move up, but we're basically in a sideways condition right now. VWAP support on the ES is at 2881. Looking at NQ, we've got support right now at the 74. Oops, sorry, I'm not sure. 7490. So watch those levels. Do keep in mind, as Dan mentioned earlier, we do have the oil numbers as well to watch out for. So good stuff.
So guys, keep an eye on this. So newbies, if you're listening, you don't buy right out here at $8 right now, right? You don't buy at resistance. This stock has technically broken out, and now it's pulling right back down. So here's where a newbie would get in. They would buy in right up here at resistance, and it fails right back down. You buy at support levels, right? And just again, it's still a little bit overextended. But here's, guys, here was two chances to trade this, or a couple of chances actually, right at the break of that candle right here, kind of that hammer. You could have gotten in at the break of this, and this is again, if you took your profit here, you could have made 7, 8, 9 cents, whatever. Remember, you got to think about it several different ways, right? Remember, SUPV is a higher float. So if this breaks out, this thing's probably not going to go up super high. So if it breaks out, you're probably going to have not a huge lot of profit in there. So you might want to consider taking your profit. Or again, you can still see there wasn't a, if you didn't take your profit along the way, it may have shaken you out right around here, but you still technically kind of could have been in here because there wasn't a candle close below the moving average lines. But if you took your profit here, another entry, you probably would have looked in over here, probably in this area, and then this candle would have shook you out. But then maybe even right in here, even any like something like this, a break of this one, 790. Remember, the next resistance level is $8. So if it breaks 790, you know, that's another chance to say, hey, I'll take my profits before $8. So you can see it smacked off $8, came back down, retested, and now it's starting, it's got this indecision. So these are ways that you can kind of go in. Remember, today's a grind, guys. This is not a great day in the markets. Not a lot of good setups. So when you don't have a lot of good setups, the market's not looking very good, take your profits along the way. But here's a stock, perfect example. I'm not looking at trade ideas right now, but I'm assuming this is probably not even hitting trade ideas, right? But this is a stock you could have gotten in and once, you know, maybe even a couple times, scalped 7 or 8 cents on a couple trades, and that's maybe what you're going to get. Now, keep an eye over here. Here's a spinning top candle. So again, a little bit overextended. Just be aware that it, you know, these moving average lines still a little bit tight. This could also possibly be forming, you know, a potential head and shoulders. You can see this could be a head, this could be a left shoulder area. If it can't break above these areas, it could fail. But just keep an eye on it. You want to see it. Just want to show you guys a couple ways to trade it and how that's why our watch lists are really good. They're stocks that, you know, they take a little bit of time. Some of them might have 300,000 or 400,000, but here's a million volume. If you're trying to trade 1,000, 2,000 shares and scalp 7, 8 cents here, 7, 8 cents here, just kind of slowly grinding it, good trade. All right, so here's my confusion. Buy at support, but wait for it to break and hold before you get in. 2 different strategies there for sure. Yeah, so I mean, there's right? So there's several different ways, you know. So this is where there's not really one perfect right way to day trade, right? There's several different, or trading in general. You have to know your rules and risk management. So again, if you look at this candle right here, technically, you know, it all depends what your rule is. Some people like to get in at support, wait for a break, and watch for a candle close. Let's say ride the 9 strategy, close below the 9 EMA. That's when you get out. So technically, you know, if you got in above 781, technically, if you did the ride the 9 strategy, there's been no close below the 9 EMA. So technically, you could have been in this trade on, you know, from 781 at the break of that, maybe using this candle right here If you want, you could use a candle below the 9 as your stop, or you could use, let's say, this candle right here, close below the 776. Again, whatever your strategy is, but if you did the ride the 9, you'd still be in this trade. But many other times, we don't know this is happening, right? You don't know this is going to happen back over here. So this could have scared you out and maybe gotten out. So this is where patience comes in. But along the way, you know, you could have also traded it one, you know, couple times here and taken profit a couple times. And now it's breaking out, right? So now you have some volume coming in. Now, again, if you're new, you don't buy in this green candle. You watch for a retest and see if $8 will hold. So at this point, $8 is very important. It's retesting right here. You want to see the retest hold. You don't buy at the top of this green candle up here. That's resistance overextended on a bigger green candle. You watch for the retest. The retest right now is showing to be a little bit shaky. And you can see these candles are getting a little bit bigger now, right? So at this point, you want to see this 9 EMA catch up on the 1 minute. See if there's a potential flag above $8. If so, then it might be one to take a look at. Remember, again, the stock's a bit overextended. It's a higher float stock. There is still some room for this that it can go. But at this point, clearly, you want to see it hold $8. And it's shaky at the moment. So now at this point, is there going to be a good, like a kind of a green candle hold right here that'll hold, give you a pennant? If so, above $8, then you might consider taking a trade. The other thing that's nice, again, about these, now it gets a little bit trickier. So now you're a little bit after 10 o'clock. This has been kind of moving, starting to get some volume, starting to be, this is where, again, showing you what's nice about these higher floats as well. If you got trapped on something like this, you can see, like right there, if you were like, oh, I messed up on this trade, you have time to think typically. So even as that's falling right now, if you got trapped and you got freaked out and you're like, you got out, even getting trapped in on something like this, $8, it's still falling. So even let's watch it for a second. This could be at 8.05 down to 7.95. This is nasty, but it's still 10 cents, right? So this is where I want to show you guys that, again, this could fool me right now and go way down here to 7.50. But typically you'll see a drop like this. And it looks like this is nasty right here, but look, it's, you know, 8.0. This is like 10 cents, right? So that's where I want to show you guys on these higher floater ones, where typically when they break out, you're probably going to make 10, you know, up to 10 cents. But when they drop and they look like they're failing a breakout, they're dropping 10 cents. So I like them, you know, because they're a good way to kind of help manage your risk a little bit better. Great to practice. And again, you know, with a low floater, again, you're going to go in, you might scalp that 10 cents and you might only have 6 seconds to scalp that 10 cents. Whereas, you know, on this, you could have, you know, a minute, 2 minutes, sometimes a few minutes. So at this point, just to show you guys, with SUPV, it's looking a little bit shaky now. So you guys can see it broke above $8, came back, couple retests. But again, if you got caught in this and you took a trade and you got a little bit too quick and jumped the gun, you still have 1, 2, 3 minutes as this trade's falling against you. You know, the fall is not, it's hard, but it's not as big financially as, let's go back to Blinn this morning. If we look at Blinn, oh, there we go. So Blinn, this is a hard fall, right? So Blinn, $4 down to 366. That's a hard fall quickly. So look at these candles. These are nasty, right? So if you were to try to like scalp 10 cents super quick on this, like you're literally, I mean, if you got in just something, I wouldn't even trade this, but like if you got in above 380, you better sell that thing within less than a minute up here before it smacks right back down. And then this is the yo-yo. So you got to be super quick and have the right setups on these low floaters. Again, you know, what are you looking to trade? If you're looking to hit a home run, you know, you're going to get trapped a lot of times on the low floaters. So again, you still want to find these patterns. Super important. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can find anything good going on this morning. There's lots of garbaccio. Let me also do a bearish scanner. I want to look right now at the ones that are selling off. Let's see if there's a possible reversal we can take a look at. Just reading your guys' comments. Creed. Oh, Creed's got his 10 a.m. funny. All right. So typically on a day where things are not looking so good, sometimes, again, I like to see, kind of look at these 5-minute setups. See any ones that are like super oversold that might be a dip buy reversal or just a reversal setup. So I like to see ones that are further away from the moving average lines for a possible reversal. Not seeing anything yet that I like. So it'd be something, I don't like this one, but like when you see how it's far away from the moving average lines, if I had like a small like doji candle or a hammer here, then I might see in a 5-minute where it's super getting buried, a chance back to the moving average lines. You know, like I'm looking for something like that. I don't like this particular setup, but that's kind of what I'm looking for on the reversal. Something like this. Something like this. I don't love it, but this is where I can see far away on the 5-minute back to the moving average lines. I prefer a little bit smaller of a candle, but that's 476 down to 472. So you can see this is a possible reversal. So on a 5-minute, this is where I would start to look in a little bit more and say, okay, on a 5-minute setup, maybe holding support. If I was to look at a trade like this and got in above 476, might have some room to that, you know, possible 9 EMA or VWAP. Again, there's still a risk because it's near the moving average lines right there in the 1-minute. So this is the risk that you start to take if you look at something like this. I like to see a little bit better of a 1-minute setup because it is still falling on the 1-minute chart. But it's something, this is the stuff I start to look at a little bit more if a stock's getting buried on a 1-minute. Can this start to get above that, maybe that 478 marker, that right above that 478, that 20 EMA? If it can get above that, maybe this thing will run up to VWAP and get a little tiny pop to take a look at using 472 as a stop area close below that. You can see this is also, it is kind of a lower float, so that's about 20 million. So this could pop and it could drop. And at the moment you can see it's not breaking above this area 476. It's starting to fail, right? So this is what I would start to look for. As you can see, that 476 price didn't get above it. So this is the stuff I'm looking for on a reversal. What's up, Hoy? How's it going?
To all the new members in the community that just came in, real quick, top right-hand corner, you can select between people. Lucian's using a dark color theme. I'm using a light color theme. And other than that, welcome to the community.
And there you go, guys. So see that? Nasty, and it's dropping, right? So this is where we say we like to look at this. Price didn't get above. Now it's failing it. So now I wouldn't completely disregard it. So now that this thing's really getting buried, now watch this thing. See if it gets a bounce. So now as this is going, so now it's starting to bounce right here. See if you'll get a, possible reversal forming. So I like to watch these ones get buried. Didn't work right here, but maybe there'll be another one that forms at some point down over here for a possible reversal. So I'll put that up on my other screen just to kind of keep an eye on it and see. Will it give you another smaller little reversal candle back up? Again, I would look at the same type of, so at this point, right here, support right down here. Now, again, sometimes if you wait for the 5 minute, you might miss a quick little move up on a 1 minute to the moving average line. So I'm showing you guys on a 5 minute, if you did it on a 1 minute, sometimes, right now I don't like the setup, but you can see sometimes you get a quick bounce right back to the moving average lines. You can go bam, bam, right up there and scalp. These might be tweezer bottoms really quick back up to the 9 EMA before it fails. So those are kind of tweezer bottoms right there. So 466 to 70, not that much of a move right there. So at this point, I personally would like to see, a reversal on a 5 minute to be safer. But sometimes, again, if you're waiting for the 5 minute setup, sometimes you can miss a quick bounce from bam, bam up there. Not that that's a lot of money, but this is what I start to look at. Is there going to be, maybe this wasn't it, but maybe there'll be one right here that forms. But now the closer that, see, now it starts to get a little bit bigger, a little bit messier, and then the moving average lines are catching up on a 5 minute. So I like to see it further away, and I like to see more of this type of candle. So this is a little bit like, I'm not sure if I'm liking that one as much now. So I'll keep that up on a sidebar chart. This is one I would definitely look at right here. So with DO getting buried super far away from the moving average lines on a 5 minute. See if it'll hold, support, or if it's going to keep falling. And then you decide whether you look at a 5 minute setup with an entry on a 1 minute, or you just take the bounce off a 1 minute back up to the moving average lines. So right here, I like to see a smaller green candle. So this is where I would like to see something smaller, green hammer, green doji, a smaller candle to form on a 5 minute to risk off of. And you can see if it can get above that, if it can clear that 772-ish area, it might have 10 cents up to the VWAP. So again, when you're day trading, guys, again, proper expectations. What are you trying to make? If you're trying to hit home runs, you're going to fail as a day trader. If you're trying to scalp, hey, let me try and get 10 cents here. Maybe you can only get 7 or 8 on a day that's a grind today. Take them. Take your profits, right? Look for these little moves that, hey, if this is a reversal, right now I don't like this. I also want to see it get above that, kind of that red inverted hammer. That puts you right around, so right around in here. If it can kind of stay away, if it can get above on a 1 minute and clear this area, it might have a chance to go back up to VWAP. You can see that VWAP, that 783 marker, is right a little bit above that blue line, which is the 20 EMA. That green line's the 13. So there could be a chance to get a little bit of profit somewhere. And you can see possible double bottom pattern forming right here in a 1 minute. So it looks like NVAX got that pop I was looking at. I think, oh, that's a 1 minute. Let me look at a 5 minute. I'll show you guys at NVAX in a moment. So right here I can see on a 1 minute a possible double bottom pattern. If it can break above that 772-ish area, it might have a chance anywhere between that 780 to VWAP area. Right now it's kind of moving up. It's not getting above it. I'd like to see it get above that 20 EMA. If so, see if it can get a pop. Let me pull up NVAX again. So NVAX, what I was showing you guys. So this 5-minute candle didn't form yet. But you can see, so this is where many times if you wait for the 5-minute, you can miss something on a 1 minute. That's just the risk you take, right? So sometimes you won't, you can see it's still forming right here. It had the quick bounce off 465 up to 477. Maybe that's a way that, again, to possibly scalp 10 cents off of a bounce. I personally like waiting for the 5-minute candle to form, but as you can see, the 5-minute didn't even form. It just bounced right back up, smacked right back down. That's why I like seeing the 5-minute setup as well. So as you can see, this candle is not forming something like this one right here. I like to see this, not this craziness. Let's go back over to DO. So DO, kind of tweezer bottomish on a 5-minute. Can't break above that 477 at the moment. So this is where you can say, oh, double bottom, it's going to break out on a 1 minute. Well, not so fast. Look at the 5-minute. It could be forming tweezer tops. So you could have tweezer bottoms or possible tweezer tops, you know, but it's clearly got to get above that 770-ish area. But here's the other thing to start to look at. The more that this takes time, the time that this takes place, the more that these moving average lines start to push down. So now the moving average lines are starting to get closer to price action, so it's a little bit less profit. So now if it breaks above 772, it might start to reject potentially 6 cents later, right? So whereas before it was up around here, you know, there was a little bit more profit. But I like to see stuff like this. This is what I was showing you guys for reversals. I just like to see moving average lines back here. I'd like to see at least 10 to 15 cents room for profit. Right now it's getting a little bit less. But there is still VWAP there right around 780s. Let's watch it for another minute, see what that does. Rose, I'll pull up SUPV in a second. Whoa, let me see here. Okay, I thought that just happened. All right, so now you can see creeping up right here above that 770s. It's still caught. I'd like to see moving average lines on a 1 minute catch up, push it above that 20. If you can get above the 20 EMA, then it might have a little bit of room to go right in here, if it can get above it. I have SUPV pulled up on another chart. I'll pull that one up in a minute, but be very careful. On a 1 minute chart, I'm seeing basically a head and shoulder, so it's rejecting below $8 right now, which would be a right shoulder. That left shoulder would have been $8, and look at around that 806 as a head. So 806 as a head, left shoulder on $8, and now it's rejecting again under $8. So at the moment on a 1 minute, it's looking head and shoulders like. Doesn't mean it can't break out, but I would like to see it get above $8 and retest and hold. All right, so now you start to see here. Now this could be a little bit, okay. You can see right up, see that line, that's 772, right? Look at it here in a 1 minute. Needs to get above and hold. It might be tweezer topping. If it can hold, if it can get above that 772, might have a chance to get again. It's not like it's a ton of money. If it can go above 772, you might have a chance near that 780-ish range potentially, but right now it's struggling. You can see the moving average lines on the 1 minute pinching. See if they'll cross and push price up. If not, and it fails, then you have tweezer tops on a 1 minute failure. So you can look at, depending stop levels, if you did test something like this, if you had a candle close below that 770-ish area or right around this area here, if you looked into something like this and it failed, if you got a candle close below that 770, you might want to consider stopping out. I just want to see this one play out for a couple minutes, see if it can get above that 772 area. You can see when you zoom in right there, now it's getting above it. Let's see if it can hold. You want to see it hold right here, that 772, not pop up and back down. So it's kind of got like a Doji-ish candle forming right now. If it can hold, then you could use that 772-ish area, close below that as your stop, and then start to look for any profit in these areas if it continues. So now here comes the potential retest right here. It may not, it just may go. Moving average lines are starting to cross on a 1 minute a little bit. So now you can see right here, the 770, 772, if you were in a trade like this, if it goes against you, this could be a shooting star reversal. You can use these areas as stops. And then these areas would be profit taking. If it continues up and moving average lines moves price up, look for these areas as potential profit taking. Not, I don't know if I just said stops, but like taking your profits. The closer price gets to green dotted lines is VWAP. This right here, the blue line is the 9 EMA. The green line's the 13. So at this point, you can kind of draw your trend lines. Right here, you can kind of just do somewhat like that, kind of like that. So right here, now you can see it's getting close to that 9 EMA. It's rejecting right here. So again, just want to show you guys just a different angle of trading right here. So again, not that there was a lot of profit taking, just showing you how a reversal looks. You see a stock bear flag falling right back down, potential tweezer bottoms down here. When a stock sells off, it naturally wants to gravitate back to the moving average lines. Ideally, you'd like to see a lot of room or more room so you can get more profit. Again, this wasn't a really big move, 771 back up to this like 777. That's 6 or 7 cents. Not a lot. Again, but it shows you the reversal, and now it may be potentially failing again. So it's a bear flag right here. Right, so there's your bear flag-ish right here, kind of back to the moving average lines. Failing, bear flag again. This still could keep going. Again, this is where you consider taking profits or not. This is where, do you take your profits along the way and scalp your 6, 7, 8 cents? Or do you hold to your, hey, I'll let it go a little bit further on a 5 minute using 772, 770-ish, let's say, as your stop. Or if you wanted to be even more aggressive down here. But, here you go. Here's your reversal, back up. Now you're getting into these areas right within here that it's going to hit resistance. Could it still continue up? Absolutely. Could it fall? Absolutely. And let's see if this one... Another thing to be aware of, DO is a higher float stock. So as you can see, it's just kind of a slower grind. Remember, it's not going to get huge pumps up. And you can see it's hitting that pink line, which is the 50 SMA right here. And that 50 SMA on the 1 minute is also the 9 EMA on a 5 minute. So here you go. Here's these patterns. Bear flag back, rejected, fell. Bear flag right up to the 9 EMA. Struggling here at the moment. Now you want to see, can it get above and continue? Move up to maybe that V Whap, which would be those green dots. Got to watch and see. Right at resistance level. Oh, SUPV just took off, moved up, huh? Dan just posted a chart on that. I'm looking at it on a 1 minute. So that one really just broke above that $8 right shoulder. Now it's got a new peak above at that 817. And like Dan is saying, there is that rising wedge. I'll pull that one up in a second. So here you guys go. Just want to show you guys again another thing where, again, reversal. Here's a stock that if you did get in around this level, 771, near 780, right up here, right, watch out for VWAP 782. So if you were in a trade like this, you might want to consider taking profits. Again, higher float. It's moving up 10 cents on a reversal. Could it continue up? Absolutely. But you would consider taking your profits. Hitting VWAP. Now it's coming. Is it going to retest and break? So it's retesting. It hitting VWAP. It's pulling back below VWAP, those green dots. Is it going to hold? See, it broke out of angular resistance, coming back, retesting. Now it's retesting that 9 EMA right here. Is it going to form for a possible VWAP break? If it can break above VWAP and get above that green line, which is the 13 EMA, there's some potential up to the 20 EMA at 790, but it needs to get above that, basically that 783-ish area. It's broaching right here. Keep an eye right at this resistance 784-ish marker right around here. Moving average lines are starting to separate. See if the 9 EMA will catch up and push price above. So it's right now between the 9 EMA VWAP and this green line, which is the 13 EMA. So now remember, if you're in this trade from earlier back down here, you know, 770s up to around 783, 84, you know, not bad profits. At this point right now, right at that 13 EMA, can it get above? If it can get above that 13 EMA, right around 784, then it's got some room on a 1 minute, and then right up to that, basically that 20 EMA right up here around 790. But remember, it's right at resistance on a 5 minute. Needs to get above 784. And right back down right now. So at this point on a 1 minute, be careful. Lots of volume, pressure coming down. Bears are pushing it down at the moment. This could turn green as well. Just got to watch and see. Right now, there's lots of volume negatively at the moment. And you can see on the 1 minute how it's playing out on a 5 minute. Right here. Possible at the moment, the candle hasn't formed, possible spinning top. You can see this candle in between the 9 and the 13 EMA. So this volume bar is playing out right over here. Dang, an SUPV. Nice job, Angel. I'll pull that one up and show you guys in a second. Tweezer tops looking on a 1 minute with SUBV, so watch out for move back down to the moving average lines. So at this point, you can see breaks out. It's coming back down right around this 784 range. If it can hold, right, so breaks out of resistance, comes back down, starts to fail. See if it can hold here now. If it can hold and get above that 784, then be aware of like that 791 resistance. Again, this is one to show you guys if you're trading, you know, these higher float ones like this, you can see that. Let me just put it over here, DO. We've been looking at this trade for several minutes now. What's it been? 5, 10, almost 15 minutes. So we've been staring at this trade for 15 minutes. And you can see this has gone from 770 up to 785. Yeah, big deal, you know, 14, 15 cents. But what it does for you guys is that for those that want a day trade, you know, again, there's people that love the lower float stocks, but then there's other ones that are like, hey, I'd like to day trade, but I want a little bit more time to trade. Well, again, here's one right here, a higher float stock. You had a chance to scalp anywhere from, you know, 6 to 10 or 15 cents within the course of 15 minutes. You didn't have to panic, right? And look, the stock, it's still going. So, you know, this is another way to be able to trade and a little bit slower and to day trade. So trading something like this, do you miss a potential move? Like, again, as I'm showing you guys this, we just completely missed a move on SUPV. That's going to happen. That happens all the time. You're going to miss moves all the time in the stock market. That's what happens. That's why don't let the emotions get to you. You know, don't get too greedy. There's days that you might go looking at an SUPV, and it doesn't do what you want it to do, and then you miss a move like this. You know, here was a good way to scalp 10 to 15 cents on a move that was a reversal that, look, not many people are looking at. 800,000 volume. It's not really on hardly anybody's radar. And it did kind of what I showed you guys. It moved right back up to VWAP, got above the 13. Now it's between the 13 and the 20 EMA. Got to watch it again, the patterns, and see. Right now it's showing definitely some weakness, reversal, setup, shooting star pattern, not looking so hot, right back down. Right? That's what I showed you guys, right? These moving average lines right here, resistance, right back down. So at this point, I'm not really digging this one anymore. It did kind of what I was showing you guys right here. It broke out, moved back to the moving average lines, the VWAP, 13 EMA. I said, watch out for that 20 EMA for resistance. What did it do? It rejected right below the 20 EMA, right back down. All right, so let's go take a look at SUPV. And look at this. Look at this one, huh? All right, so let's take a look at this one for a moment. So, wow, this has got a nice looking. Good call, Angel. So as Dan was posting, this one does have a rising wedge-ish pattern. So there you go. So here's a rising wedge pattern right here. So at this point, as you can see, right at resistance. So this one is overextended right now on the 5 minute. So be very careful on this since it's been running now for about an hour. So be aware of a possible reversal back down to the moving average lines. But as you can see back over in here on a 1 minute, the moving average lines were pinching. As they started to separate, you could consider, you know, like kind of forming that, it's kind of got that cup base. This is where you gotta, you know, see if you did risk on one of these, you know, as the moving average lines are starting to separate, if you got in somewhere right below or right near the $8, or you can see the candle got bigger as it broke $8, the volume came in. So if you risked on something like within here in this area, you know, for the anticipation of the break of $8, right, you could use below $8 or below the 9 EMA as a stop, or you could have waited for $8 to break, and then you can see it broke above $8, came back, retested. Then it got a little bit funky through here, right, because everybody's looking for that $8 move or break above $8. But if you got trapped or something throughout here, you could use $8 or close below the 9 EMA as your stop. So you would have gotten shook out through here. This would have been a little bit of a yo-yo. But if you held strong, and that was right above, let's say, 8.10 area, it got up in these 8.20s area. So that's your 10 to 15 cent move. Take your profits out here. Don't just wait. You know, even if you didn't, if you waited where it started to close here, you still would have made some profit. But at this point, it's hitting resistance at the top of this rising wedge. At this point, be aware of angular support down in the moving average lines and down right around this 810-ish area. And as you can see, it's definitely fading. All right, so you can see, guys, price is failing. There we go. So that's why it looked weird. Price is failing angular support at this rising wedge right here, so not looking good at the moment. All right, so as you can see, market's a bit bearish. So at this point, you know, why go where the herd is trying to go up and try to find ones that are moving up on days that are down? Let's go see if we can find any possible reversals. I showed you one or two earlier. Let's go see if there's any more that are selling off. Oops. NVAX was one we were showing earlier. Didn't have a really good reversal candle set up here, and as I was showing you guys, it just kind of hit. It just moved up. So you didn't get a small reversal candle. That's where sometimes, again, if you wait for the 5-minute setup, you'll miss it. But that happens, right? And you can see what I was showing you guys. You know, so there you go. I had a real break at about that 472. Now it's moved up. That's your 10-cent move or so. You know, on a higher... Actually, that's still kind of lower float kind of stock. But that's where you got to look at the different chart setups between the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Look for the reversals. And many times there'll be fake outs. That's why you got to have very good stop levels in place. We like to use mental stops, not system stops, so they're not triggered. We like to teach people how to pull the trigger themselves. There is a lot of garbage today in the market. Lots of garbaccio. All right, so I'm not seeing anything on any really good reversals at the moment. So let's go for some of the higher ones on the day and see if there's anything to keep an eye on. Isn't INSY, isn't that a pot stock? Oh, man. INSY is a pot stock, guys, right? Woo! Wow. Look at this bad boy. This was supposed to... Look at that. I remember trading this one a few years ago when we were doing the pot stocks before the elections. Look at that. Oh, cool. I got my rant that I go on, guys, right? So, right? Guys, pot stocks going to the moon, right? Got to get in. Weed's going to be legalized everywhere. Got to get your pot stocks, right? All the penny pot stock pumpers, right? Got to buy them. Everybody's telling you to buy them. The news, oh my God, got to get my pot stocks. Buy them low now. Look at this piece of crap. INSY was a great reputable stock at one point. That this is one of the ones that you were looking at that was one of the more reputable ones. $46. Down to frickin' 58 cents. Piece of crap. That's a penny stock. It was $46. This was one of the good ones. All right? So let's go back to, let's take a look at Canada, ACBFF. Let's look at some pot stocks. So ACBFF is a Canadian pot stock, or is. I don't know why it's not pulling up at the moment.
They were rebranded. It's now just ACB. Take off the FF.
ACB. There we go. All right. So this is, it's just trading sideways. It's a yo-yo. But this is what I want to show you guys, right? So right now, let's say you turn on the news or you're listening to some penny pumper or some going to marijuana stocks. Somebody says, oh, weeds, buy it now. It's going to be legalized, right? Well, how do you trade this chart? If you're a newbie and you come in, you want to go buy some pot stocks. ACB, Canadian pot stock, I think it's one of the second most popular ones that from the last time I was looked at it in Canada. Show me where you buy this, right? Show me where you buy this stock. It's, you know, you got kind of a head and shoulders. You have a, it's kind of different ways to look at it. You can see right here, just to show you guys some analysis. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head and shoulders. Draw your neckline here. Kind of like this. Or you could do it like this. Right? So you have head and shoulders. Or you can say, okay, symmetrical triangle. Right? So, oh, cool. It's symmetrical triangle. It's going to break out. Is it? Kind of head and shoulders here. Neckline here. Price at neckline. Let me buy it right now. It's cheap, right? Well, it's below the moving average lines. There's still more room to fall. But pot stocks are going to the moon, right? Where do you buy this thing? Dang it, my chart's... I don't know what the hell's going on with my chart. Hold on, guys. My chart. There we go. So, like, when you go to buy something, this is why we're trying to teach people, right? You don't buy because somebody's pumping it, right? You got to know when to buy, right? You can see. Here's an example. Pump, dump. Pump, dump. Pump, dump. People are pumping it. Then they're dumping it. Newbies are buying out here, right? Boom, right down here. Right up here, boom, right down here. Right up here. I have a friend of mine. That dude's got a lot of money. He just wastes money. He bought, what did he do? He bought, what is he saying the other day? He bought somebody like, some famous lyricist, he wrote I don't want to say the name, like some famous singer. I don't know the singer, but my friend like loves this famous singer. And the famous singer, he got like whatever, they write a song, right? And you have whatever the lyrics or whatever the heck they wrote, right? So the dude my friend loves this singer. So he literally goes and he like wastes $50,000 on buying the dude's like notes or whatever the hell, whatever you want to call it, right? The lyrics. He buys the dude's lyrics for like $50,000. Wastes money on it. So he tells me the other day, he knows I do stocks, you know. He goes, oh, I just bought, I don't even know, the symbol was so crappy on the pot stock. I had never even heard of it. He's like, oh yeah, I just bought 50,000 or 60,000, some ridiculous amount on some pot stock. I said, where'd you buy it? He's like, oh, I just bought it, and now it's already dropped down like $10,000-$15,000. So where'd you buy it? He bought it at the top of, like, right up here. Like, what the hell are you doing? Now, that guy, he's a millionaire, so he's got a lot of money, so he can afford to do it, right? But most new traders can't, right? So they have their $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 account, and some chat room's pumping it up. So like, oh my God, pot stock's going to the moon. And then they buy up here. This is where new traders are buying it, and they're getting slammed, right? So if you don't know how to, we're not saying don't buy pot stocks, trade them, right? You know, but you have to know where support levels are, and you got to know where resistance levels are. So you buy at support, sell at resistance. Most new traders, they don't know what the heck they're doing, so they come in and they buy at resistance because they're, you know, listening to some chat room or some guru or someone pumping it. They buy up here, and then they wonder why the hell the thing falls, right? It falls because there's support and resistance. That's what you got to remember if you're a new trader. You know, a lot of people, some people say, oh, I don't follow technical analysis. You got to follow the fundamentals, right? Well, if you really think about it, the technicals are really the trail of the fundamentalists. So when a fundamentalist buys stocks, they leave clues, which are these candlesticks, which form support and resistance. So the technical trader, you can come in. So, hey, it's great. Pot stocks are going to the moon. Maybe they will 5 or 10 years from now. Who the heck knows? But all we know is as technical traders and seeing these things, we can see resistance levels, right? And then there's support levels. So another perfect example. Let's take a look at my good old friend Bitcoin. What the hell is B? What's the I know GWP. What the heck is it? What's a good Bitcoin? BTCF? What is that one? Creed? Or whoever?
/BTC. Angel just posted it there. That's the Bitcoin ETF. Air quotes.
All right, so let's do a quick lesson on Bitcoin, right? So somebody that could have been following us, like, could say, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Bitcoin's going back to the moon again, right? Well, okay. Remember, guys, there's previous highs, right? Bitcoin is no different than any other stock on the planet. It has support. It has resistance. Stocks go up. Stocks go down. So look at 20,000. It was 20,000. So you can say when we're talking about, you know, like, again, these patterns, it got hammered. $20,000, it falls right back down. So now let's take a look at this chart, right? Is there money to be made in Bitcoin? Yeah, potentially there is, right? You can see possible cup, maybe cup and handle-ish. But let's zoom in here. Well, there's also possible head and shoulders-ish. And there's these yo-yo effects, right? So do we know what the heck's going to happen to Bitcoin long term? No, I don't know. This thing may go to 100,000. It might go to 2 cents. We don't know. But there's lots of ways that you can trade this. They're great ways to be able to trade. That's funny. Cool. Thanks, man. So there's ways that you can trade this, right? But you want to get near support levels for the breakout, right? So nearer, like something like this. You're getting nearer, like a hammer off a moving average line. Once it breaks out, sell it for profit. You know, kind of a breakdown near here, sell it for profit. It's a tradable, you know, there's lots of money to be made. But if someone, like, my whole point being is if you're new and you hear somebody say, buy Bitcoin, it's going to the moon. Well, where do you want to buy Bitcoin? Tell me when you're going to buy Bitcoin right now, and tell me when you're going to sell it, right? So just like Bitcoin, kind of like the pot stock sector, tell me when you're going to buy it, show me where, and show me when you're going to sell it. Well, I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to hold it forever because it's going to go to the moon. Well, how the hell do you know that? How do you know that? I mean, it could go back up to 20,000 again, but I could also say you could buy Bitcoin right now, and I could show you a head and shoulders pattern, and this thing could easily fall down to $5,000 or even more. So this is where when you're trading, you have to know when you're going to enter and when you're going to exit. If you're just going to buy something because it's going to go to the moon, well, Bitcoin was at the moon and it went down to $3,000. It's at $8,000 again. It could go up to 10 or 20,000, or this could easily fail right here. Right here. So I have a neckline. I can see a head a left shoulder, a right shoulder, and a neckline. So I'm not saying don't trade it. I'm just showing you guys support and resistance. If we do some horizontal right here, there's a head, the top of the peak right here, right around that 9,000-ish area. There's a left shoulder right around 8,300. This is resistance. What is this? What I'm showing you guys is if you were to trade something like Bitcoin, and now it's kind of right in this right shoulder of a head and shoulders, it's trading sideways. You need to see it get above that 8,400-ish area. And if it does, you better start thinking about potentially taking profits within here. Or, again, could it break out and go to 10,000 or more? Absolutely, but it could easily fail as well. Remember, so this is, again, if you're going to go, hey, like Bitcoin's going to the moon, where are you going to buy it? Well, here's patterns. Look at areas. If you're going to take a trade on something like this, know where support and resistance is. And if it breaks out, are you going to take profit anywhere, or are you going to hold it till it goes to the moon, right? This is why what we try to teach people in our community. This is why we're not pumping stocks. We're teaching you all the technicals and how to trade so that you know when to buy and when to sell. There's lots of money to be traded in many different sectors, right? I'm not hating on Bitcoin or pot stocks. I'm just trying to show you guys the areas of where you would buy and where you would sell, right? I don't think multimillionaires that know how to trade and the billionaires, I don't think, I could be wrong, that they were buying up here at $20,000. You know, I bet you they were, they had their positions a lot earlier, pumped it up to 20,000 and then dumped it right back down, right? So again, when you're looking at trading things, you know, it's that support and resistance level. You have what, you know, again, I don't think they were buying. This is where new traders were buying, coming in, spending their life savings at $20,000 right up here. New traders are probably buying right out here. Dang it, why the heck is my drawing not working? You know, new traders are buying out here and then crying as their brokerage account just gets slammed. And then those are the same people that saying Bitcoin's going to the moon when it's at $5,000 after they lost $15,000 a share, right? This is where you got to know support resistance. Probably some new trade or the pros that had a lot of money are like, ha, all the new traders, all the newbies are losing their money. Let's buy the dip right down here, push it back up, sell out here. So new traders are again probably buying out here. You know, professional traders like, aha, double top pattern here. This thing's going to fall again. New traders getting sucked right back in as it starts to fall. You know, professional traders might say, possible double bottom. This might get another pop. Let's pump it right back up again. And then kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. So lots of money to be made if you know when to buy at support levels and sell at resistance levels and see these patterns. This is a double top pattern right here. You can see kind of two equal tops failed. Boom, right here, neckline. So top, neckline failure. Boom, double top falls back down. Wash, rinse, repeat. So Hoy says, just wondering when these trade rooms are open each day, week. Would like to log in each day if I have the time. Our day trade room is open from, basically we do from anywhere from 9 o'clock to 11:30, 12. In the afternoons, it just kind of typically turns into more chat. Our focus hours are between 9 to, let's say, 11:30, 12. Angel, how was the rant? Yep, 9 Eastern Standard Time. Angel, did you like the rant? Just for old time's sake, loved it. Speaking of rants, something I haven't done for a while. I mean, it's the summertime, right? Let's go take a look at TripAdvisor. Let's see how much it is to go to Bali. Our good old friend Bali. Ooh, where is this, guys? You guys want to go to... This looks like Croatia. Croatia looks very nice. I would bet money that a trip to Croatia would be more expensive than Bali. Phuket? Where's Phuket?
Puckett, but with a PH.
Oh, Puckett. Oh, would that be? Oh, would that be a swear word if I pronounced it properly?
Yeah, like phone.
Like but pocket. Where do we want to go? Trips. I want to go to Bali. Let's go to Bali, Indonesia. Let's go to see. How the heck do you guys do TripAdvisor? It's been a long time since I've looked. Hotels in Bali. When do you want to go? It's a little bit in the summertime. Let's go for the fall where it's a little bit cooler. Let's go for a week in November. Let's leave on a Saturday. Come back on a Friday so we can rest up a little bit. A couple days before you go back to work, right? Update. So we're going to check in on a November 2nd, check out on the 8th. And look at good 5-star hotel, $173 a night. So if you do the math and you do that, and we go and do this, $173. Let's go 5 nights. $865. So guys, you can go for $865 and stay a 5 night stay in Bali. Look at that. It's gorgeous, right? That's less than it is. I guarantee you it's hard enough to get a hotel room in New York City for $200 a night. So you can pretty much go to Bali for cheaper than it would take to go to New York City. That's why I joke around and say all these things, all these Instagram models and all these people flying around, taking all their shots in Bali. We can do that too as well, right? You know, go take our trips to Bali and take our nice pictures. Look at how cheap it is. Actually, I think Timmy's coming up. Timmy's coming up for a stay in Connecticut to come see us in a few weeks. So our buddy Timmy's coming up. And he's coming. He's staying at a hotel in like Manchester, Connecticut. That thing, it's I mean, we just booked him an okay hotel. It wasn't the greatest. It's an okay one, right? And it was like, I don't know. What was that, Angel? $80 a night? What was that? What was that hotel we booked, Tim? $80? Yeah, $80 a night. And it's like near a mall, and it's all right. And here you go for, I mean, I can get a 5-star with this view right here for $50 more. There we go. So you too can go to Bali as well. Very cheap. Cheaper than it is probably almost kind of go to Connecticut. If we got Tim a nicer hotel, we could have easily got him one for $150 a night. That would have been better than when we got him for $80 and still not as nice as the one in Bali. Probably got to spend, what, $1,000 on a ticket for a flight? So there you go. You have probably a couple $1,000 vacation right here to go to Bali. There you go. That's my rant. All right, guys. That's what I got for a day today. Watch out for bullets. All right. So, like, Manchester's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Hey, Brizzo. Manchester's not that bad. Not many. If you said Bridgeport, different story. Hartford, potentially. That is actually a good story. I was in the mall, at the Buckland Mall in Manchester. I was shopping at H&M. I was looking to buy some joggers and some hoodies. I was ready to make the purchase, and then I saw a herd of young people yelling and screaming and running down the mall. And I was like, what's going on outside of the store? And diagonally outside of the store, there was a big, huge herd of people yelling and screaming. So it looked like there was a fight. And then mall security comes running. And then I'm in H&M and the store manager says, guys, you either leave now or we got to lock up right now. Leave the store. We got to lock the store. So we're shutting it down. You can decide if you want to leave or stay in the store. A normal person would have said, okay, I'm out of here. But I decided to stay in the store because I couldn't determine whether I wanted the joggers or the hoodies. And then it determines I stayed. and I was still going to make my purchase. And then they decided after a few minutes, hey guys, we need to sneak you out the back door. So I stayed, did not get to make my purchase. And then we got escorted out the secret backdoor entrances. So I didn't make my purchase. So then you would figure, hey, Buck Mall is dangerous. You shouldn't really go back there. But what I did was the next day, I went back and I made my purchase. West Farms Mall is better. Yeah. Buckland Mall is terrible. So the end of the story is go to Bali. Don't shop at H&M at the Buckland Mall. Go to West Farms. And shop at ASOS online.
See, man, now if I come up there to see you, I was just going to wear my normal suit, but I actually have two suits. One's bulletproof, the other one's a stat-proof suit. So I'm just going to take that with me now. So thank you for that.
I mean, it's better than your birthday suit, Creed. Right?
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, those suits aren't cheap. And I was like, no, I'll be safe up there. And now I'm like, no, there's a reason I avoid cities.
Yes. So joggers. Yes, I am a fan of the joggers. I do like joggers. Actually, the place that I like will give a good plug right now as I'm ending the stream because I don't want to talk about stocks anymore today. We will go over to, here's one of my favorite places, Xanarobe. Hey, you know what? Just let's look over here. Xanarobe, great place for joggers. A little bit on the more expensive side. Dan is listening to me a little bit more on the fashion sense lately. You can never go wrong with some low top Air Force white Air Force Ones. These are a great staple for any type of outfit as well as these joggers, right? So that's a perfect little setup. Right here is Xanarobe's got fantastic joggers. A little bit of on the pricey side, but they're really good. Definitely worth it. Dan's looking good these days. Yes. We're going to have to put some Instagram photos of Dan on there. See, Dan is still, he's so good and doesn't break character. He's talking stock still while we're looking at joggers. So yes, this is a really great store here right now. Xanarobe. Love them. And I will show you guys one last purchase I made yesterday before I go. Aldo shoes. Angel, I did get these right over. Summer sale. Huh. Guys, I didn't see this sale yesterday. This could be dangerous. I got these right here. These men's, what did I get? Flip-flops. Sandals. And I got, which ones did I get? Right down. Angel, I did end up getting these ones afterwards. I saw a purchase yesterday and I was torn because I got these ones. These are the ones I got for comfort. And I have ones like this that are really good. So these are the ones I got for comfort. However, I'm not a huge fan of the Aldo writing. And you have to have black as well as brown. So these, I got both of them. They're very, very comfortable. However, I was like, I'm torn because it had the Aldo on the side. So I decided, after I was at the store, I saw these ones as well. And I was torn because these ones look much more of like a sandal I would like because they're not promoting Aldo. So I left the store, came home, liked the ones I got, but didn't love them. And so I decided to then do an online purchase last night and ordered both the black and the brown ones here. So now we have ones for a little bit more of the look and the regular, as well as the, the comfort. So for Dan, I would recommend getting these ones right here, as well as these black ones. So we're going to work on getting Dan these ones as well. Good, simple. What do you think, Angel? You like those? These are nice, right? I like these better. Yeah. So these are more my favorites. These are more of my preference, but I do like the cushion of these. So kind of how I would do in theory if I was going to, let's say, walk around the Big E or go to a fairground or a place where I was walking, maybe a carnival or an amusement park, I would probably wear these. But if I was going out to dinner or to the beach or something a little bit more cash, not as much walking, I would wear these right here. There we go. All right, guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Lambert says, like your videos. I've learned a lot through all your stuff on YouTube. Thanks. Well, thank you very much. I'm surprised someone's still complimenting me after this, the shopping advice here. So I'll end the YouTube stream now. And,